Actually, I was going to say good morning, but it's good afternoon. It was a long council meeting. You know, as Houston struggled with a deep and persistent national recession, we had to make some very necessary but painful cuts to services that are very valuable to the citizens of Houston. Today marks another really big milestone in our recovery from those cuts. It hurts to remember them, but in the depths of the recession, as we were laying off hundreds and hundreds of city employees, furloughing employees, we had to cut programs and services. We closed in swimming pools. We cut back on the hours that 311 was answered. We closed libraries on weekends and in the evenings. We immediately came back thanks to generous corporate sponsors that first year with reopening the swimming pools, but then we worked the swimming pools back into our budget. We have restored the 311 hours, and it is now back to being a 24/7 operation with some great new technology. It's actually more nimble and responsive. So today is a restoration of that third big piece of community interaction, and it is the one piece that I have heard from every district council member and a number of citizens that they miss the service, they want the service back. In fact, I had a meeting with a very large group of Boy Scouts a month or so ago, and I was asking the kids what they most missed. Actually, that wasn't what I asked. I asked what sort of the magic question, if you could do anything in the city, what would you like to have? And the kids were saying things like, well, I'd love to have a swimming pool full of Skittles and chocolate fountains in every school. And one Boy Scout raised his hand and he looked at me and he said, I want to be able to go to the library again. And I almost burst into tears. We have been working to restore library hours aggressively, but we had to be sure that once we reopened libraries that we could sustain that. Well, the good news is that the economy in Houston is better than any place else in the United States, that our recovery is farther along than we had anticipated, and it's now time to make that commitment back to the libraries and to answer that young man and say, yes, we can have libraries back on the weekends. And I'm proud to be joined here by Council Members Burke and Davis, Mayor Pro Tem Gonzalez, and Library Director Dr. Rhea Brown Lawson as we announce the restoration of service hours for the Houston Public Library. Between April 1st and the end of this fiscal year, Houston Public Library will restore Saturday service hours at 14 locations, bringing the total number of locations with Saturday hours to 41, and resulting in Saturday library service in neighborhoods across the city. In addition, the Central Library will restore service hours on Fridays and Sundays, returning the Central Library to 7-day-a-week service. The first wave of job postings for the positions needed to expand the hours went up today on the city's website. So if there are librarians out there who want to come back to work for the city or who are looking to work with the city of Houston, we'd like to hear from them. The restored hours will happen in phases as additional library staff is hired and trained, and so we'll bring each library back to the full weekend hours as rapidly as we can. We will place these expanded library hours. That will be our new normal, and we will put that into the 2014 budget as we go forward. In addition to the neighborhood libraries, which is what I know the council members with me are most concerned about, I've had a lot of questions about the specialty libraries, such as the Clayton Library, which is a destination library. And the Clayton is another library that needs to be open on the weekends because people travel from around the country to be there. It's now my honor to ask Dr. Lawson to step up and talk about how the restoration of hours is going to go and what she sees in the future. Dr. Lawson?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your vision and your leadership and your steadfast support of the Houston Public Library. And most importantly, for your support of hearing and responding to the request of library, to citizens and their requests for library services on weekends. We are delighted that we're able to restore library services at 14 neighborhood libraries and to bring the Central Library back to 7-day-a-week service. We believe that the best way to serve our community is by being open for service when the community needs us most. As you mentioned, Mayor, to make this happen, we'll be hiring additional staff. And the first of those postings are on the city's website today. This is a time of great change for libraries, and a lot of exciting things are happening. So we will be looking for new team members with particular skills and abilities to help move us forward. This opportunity allows us to hire staff who are excited about providing great customer service and excited about helping to move library services to the next level. We're especially looking for team members who specialize in smiles and have a great attitude. Enjoy interacting with people from all ethnicities and from various backgrounds. Are passionate about providing excellent customer service, have strong technology skills, and can adapt easily to change. We would love to hear from folks who have these qualities, and as mentioned, and if you think that you know people, please tell them to call the library or visit the city's website and apply for these positions. I look forward to sharing the plan with City Council members and gaining their support as well. Again, thank you, Mayor, for your support. I think it's a win-win for the city, it's a win-win for the citizens, and a win-win for the library.
Now, this is something that I'm instituting through my budget authority. But as I indicated, we will be, our plan is, as we present next year's budget to council later this spring, that these renewed and restored library hours will be in that. We've turned the corner, and I'm confident that we can maintain it. Doesn't mean that we are completely back to where we were, but this is the third big piece of the service cuts that we had. I don't know if the council members wish to weigh in. I know Councilmember Davis, who's standing behind me, as a district council member, is particularly concerned with literacy and reading with the kids in his district. He has an initiative going on, and having more access to libraries has to help in that initiative.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you wish to say anything?
Just a few words. I want to thank the mayor and Dr. Lawson our efforts to bring back those hours. Our kids in our district, they're looking for places to go. We want to provide positive outlets for them, and then couple them with after-school programs so they can get to where they need to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I remember those days very well because when we were going through those difficult decisions, one of the primary concerns that we heard from the community were the reductions and impacts on the library, because many did find it useful to be able to go on Saturdays. And I want to commend Dr. Lawson, her entire team. They went through a methodical process and rolling that out, even though it was difficult, through the administration as well for monitoring the entire process. And then to now be at this point is really something very exciting, because again, from our constituents, that was one of the primary concerns we heard were the impacts to the library. So thank you, Mayor. Job well done. Thank you.
Now, we didn't ever close all the libraries on the weekends. We went through a methodical process when we had to do the cutbacks, and we looked at each library and when they were most heavily used and protected those hours and cut back in others. But evening and weekend hours are really important. This is something north of $3 million per annum in order to provide these additional hours in the budget. So we are glad to do it. And does anyone have any questions about? Yes, ma'am.
How many jobs are being added total?
There are 109 positions.
And you have a schedule
past staff's added? Do you have a schedule or timetable of when that will occur, or do the main library location first? Talk a little bit about that.
Certainly. The first wave of postings went up today. The hiring process will probably take us about 30 days, 30 to 40 days. Get people placed and trained, so we're looking at April for the first libraries to come online on Saturdays. Second postings will go up in another 2 weeks, and then maybe 2 weeks after that, in May or early June, we will get the second wave of openings, which includes the Central Library.
So the central library is
In the second wave.
Do you have a list of this, like a list?
It was attached
Yes.
to the press release that,
Yes.
that went out.
Yes.
The list of the libraries.
Yes. Yes, they have to come with smiles and a great attitude. We're looking for people who are tech savvy, who are passionate about service, and who love diversity. Sorry?
Just like you are, he said.
Yes, of course.
Previous library experience is certainly helpful, and this is not, there are all types of positions to get these libraries staffed up again. So I'm assuming we may hear from people who used to work for the city, but the city's growing and changing, so there may be a lot of folks who are interested in this. And because it is neighborhood libraries across the city, there may be an opportunity for someone to work close to home. No, this is coming from the general fund. These are taxpayer revenues that have increased enough where we feel confident that we can sustain these new hours for the long term.
We are adding Saturdays to 14 libraries that are currently closed on weekends and restoring the Central Library to a 7-day operation.
And what will be the new times that you will be?
We're still finalizing the schedules, and they will be released soon.
And because we're going to phase in
Right.
as the libraries open, too. So I
Right.
don't want to put something out today and it may shift.
That's right.
And just to clarify, when you're talking about 109 jobs, are you talking about like 109 FTEs, so there might be some part-timers, or you know?
That's a good question.
Yeah, there are 80 FTEs, 109 positions.
And again, just for clarification, I understand the Saturdays are being added at these locations. Are there locations where the weekday hours may be extended as well, perhaps some evening hours added? Is that in the plan?
Not right now, but there will be, we're closely monitoring that. You know, we're not completely recovered back to where we were, but this is a huge piece, and we're going to continue to look at that. As one of the challenges for our budget is that we have to make sure that recurring revenues meet recurring expenses. And part of the way we have navigated through this very difficult economy, even with all the cuts we had to make, is that we have used one-time sources of funds. And so we had to get to the point where we were comfortable that the recurring revenue could handle these additional staff hours. But again, I know that particularly the district council members, but folks in the neighborhoods are going to be really happy as these hours come back up. It's not an overnight process because we have to hire the personnel. But these libraries have not been mothballed. They are being used on a daily basis. We didn't completely close any libraries, and we targeted the hours of closure. So we're going to have the similar methodical process as we ramp it up, but by April you should begin to see some real results. But we wanted to share the news, and we wanted to tell people that City of Houston is hiring again, which means that we are joining a number of employers across the city with good financial news. Any other questions about the library issue?
The city program that you're going to be hiring people. So that
The direct answer to your question is no. There is not another big, this was a restoration of service cuts. We don't have any big initiatives going forward, but I would point out that there are a number of jobs in the city that hire constantly. They have turnover, and so we regularly post to the city's website those positions. So the city never stops hiring, but this would be a big new initiative, so we're going to be hiring a lot of people over a relatively short period of time. While I've got your attention, I want to remind everybody of the program that's going on in the city of Houston right now called My Degree Counts. It's a partnership with the Center for Houston's Future, where we are assisting, and in fact a number of nonprofit organizations are involved, we are assisting individuals who started on a degree and didn't quite get there, whether that is an associate's degree or a four-year college degree, technical training. We are working with colleges and universities to do credit recovery and help them get those degrees. This is through our, my Director of Education Initiatives in the Department of Neighborhoods. It's a region-wide initiative, and it is led by the Center for Houston's Future. The chancellors of the 9 regional community colleges have stood up in favor of this. Our local university presidents, a number of nonprofit organizations and businesses. This partnership is focused on raising our regional college graduation rate. But we also want to do what we can as employers to support our employees in ways that allow us to build our own capacity and help them reach their appropriate level of education attainment. The city is hosting a series of brown bag seminars this month and a college fair in March, specifically for City of Houston employees to help them find out about available resources to complete their degrees. This is really aimed at someone who has the ability to be successful, either a 2-year or 4-year college program, started out and for whatever reason didn't finish it. Our degrees count. Let's make sure we move that forward, and so we will help them with credit recovery resources, admissions and financial aid processes that may be available. This is not something the city is going to fund. This is something that we believe is important for our region, and we're going to be a full participating partner in that. I want to call today for other employers and nonprofit organizations who are interested in this effort to get involved. Go to www.mydegreecounts.com to find partnership opportunities to get more information, or contact the Center for Houston's Future. It has been shown over and over again that having that completed degree gives you access to better jobs, gives you access to better income, and if you have better jobs and better income, you can better contribute to the overall Houston economy. So just a reminder that that program has been going on for some time, and we want to ramp it up a little bit.